Good evening, everyone. My name is Someshwar. I welcome all of you on behalf of Art of Living organization to योग वाशिष्ठ इवनिंग सेशन। नमस्ते, मैं सोमेश्वर आप सभी को आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग संस्था की तरफ से योग वाशिष्ठ के सायंकाल के सत्र में स्वागत करता हूँ। We'll continue our session by chanting Om 3 times. अपने सत्र को हम लोग आगे बढ़ाएंगे 3 बार ओमकार का उच्चारण करके। Today we are on 139th session. आज हम लोग 139वें सत्र में यहाँ पे पहुंच चुके हैं। Our today's topic is that yesterday we have seen how this Rudra comes into picture and how the entire that destruction of this thing happens and how the transformation of that thing takes place. What is Rudra? Who is Rudra? What is Shiva? No? We have looked that thing into detail yesterday. Now today we'll look at that Rudrani, that Kali Chaya, that dark energy, that dark matter, about that Shakti, about that force, that life force energy that is there, how that life force energy, how that Shakti takes different forms, take into different, or how it defects into different form, and the detailed explanation of that is something comes today. So Kali, Saraswati, Durga, no? We even celebrate the Navaratris. That point of time also we celebrate this, but here there are few more additions to that. That is something which we'll see today, and we will see that how that is something which we call into this different form, how that is related to this nature, how that is related to this Prakriti, how that is related to this entire life. That beautiful insights about the Shakti comes into picture. So today I just want to take this opportunity to even thank that Shakti, that Nari Shakti, that womanhood, that it comes in our life in the form of a mother, in the form of a divine mother, in the form of a mother, in the form of a sister, in the form of your friend. No, so that Nari Shakti, to that Nari Shakti I bow down, and let us continue with today's session by dedicating this to all our Nari Shakti, that woman power that is there around us. No, that Shiva and the Shakti that goes together, and that is how this entire Srishti continues to exist as it is. So let us see how it all happens. Let's all close our eyes, aram se baith jaye, and keep your spine erect. And let us bring back our attention to our breath. Take a normal breath in and let go. Take a deep breath in and exhale completely. Breathe in for the Omkar chanting. Let us invoke the divinity within. गुरु शक्ति का आवाहन कर ले। आवाहयामि आवाहनम आवाहनम पुनः पुनः सच्चिदानंद रूपोहम शिवोहम 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 गुरु वंदना कर ले। गुरुर् ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर् साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Let us offer our prayer. Whatever the words that come out of this mouth, whatever the actions that are happening, whatever the thoughts over on to our mind, and the power of discrimination arise in our intellect. The impressions that might be getting created in our memory, and if still there is an iota of that I, me, let all the known and unknown levels of our existence be inspired by the Master alone. If you have already experienced that there is nothing that can bind, that is what you are. You are that peace, you are joy, you are love. Then let this remaining life be inspired by the Master alone. Pray like this. Feel the presence of the Master within and outside. And slowly and gradually, the gentle smile on your face with a feeling of contentment. You may open your eyes. धीरे धीरे अपने प्यारी सी आंखें एक तृप्ति और आनंद के भाव के साथ खोल सकते हो। जगदेव, चलिए आज के इस सत्र को यहाँ पे आगे बढ़ाते हैं। We'll continue with our today's session. We are looking into a story of Pashana. Pashana means the stone here. And inside that Pashana, inside that stone, Vaashishtha Muni happens to see the entire universe, the entire Brahman, the entire world is situated in that stone. And how exactly that thing goes through the pralaya, how it goes through the complete destruction process, complete transformation process is something that is been explained here in Pashana. And there is a very beautiful knowledge that is churned out of this various stories of this Pashanakya. So the Vaashishtha Muni once upon a time happens to enter into meditation. He remains in that meditation for almost 100 years. After that, he comes out of that meditation. He meets with one woman, and then where she requests him to come and pass on the knowledge that he has. When he happens to go along with her inside the Pashana, inside the stone, they happens to see the entire universe, entire Brahmanda, and both of them enters into that. That is where he comes to know the story about that woman, why is she came to here, how that entire thing happened when interacts with the Brahmadev of that Brahma, the creator of that particular Brahmanda. He have an interaction, and that is where the Brahmadev mentions to him that this is the time for the Pralaya, this is the time for the end of this Brahmanda, end of this world. So that entire world goes through the complete Pralaya, complete destruction process, complete end process. That is what is the Vaashishtha Muni watches that entire process, and which is explained so beautifully here. So when he continued to explain that point of time, he sees there even the Rudra comes into picture, and then when he see the Rudra, the detailed Varnan, the detailed description of that Rudra, that Rudra is the Shiva's one Sarup. No, everything is Shiva. In that he takes the form of a Rudra here, and then it has been explained that how that Rudra does everything that is happening over there, and that world completely comes to an end. At the same time, that Rudra does the Tandava also, that is called as Rudra Tandav. So he just in the space that Rudra is completely occupied. He occupied the entire Brahmand, he occupied the entire Srishti, entire Brahmand, entire universe is occupied with that Rudra only. So the Rudra itself is that thing that Shiva, who has expanded this Jagat, now that entire Jagat, Rudra happens to see as gulping over there. Now at the same time, he also sees, Vaashishtha Muni also sees that around him there is something called as Chaya. Chaya means the shadow. Now that Chaya is black in color, so also it is referred to as the Kali. So it is that Kali, it is that Chaya, it is that Shala. He is also called as Rudrani. And what is the Swarupa of that? What is the form of that? Naturally, it is something, the entire Brahmanda. What is the form of the entire Brahmanda? It is, she goes formless. Yet, just for the sake of understanding, whatever the Vaashishtha Muni sees it, not through his eyes, at the level of very subtle, at the level of the Jnana, that Divya Drishti, he sees that thing, he sees the Swarupa, that infinite Swarupa of that Kali. So there is a detailed Varnan, there is a detailed description of this Kali and that Shakti that has been given in this subchapter number 114. We are in the 7th chapter called Nirvan Prakaran. In that there is a subchapter of 114 number. In that Pashan Akhyana, the Akhyan, today's Akhyan is of 8 and 9 is what something which we'll look at. So that is 114 and 15 chapter. So here you will find the detailed description of these Rudrani, this Kali, no, this Shakti. So what is it that, so Vaashishtha Muni explains that, hey Rama, that when I saw that Rudra is there and around that, there is this very, very big, no, I tried to search for that. I traveled thousands and thousands of years to see her, the start and the end. It was so big, no? But that was not at the level of the Buddha, that was not at the level of some Chakshu here, not physical thing. It was just only at the level of that Chaitanya, that Chidakasha. That is only through which that Drishti, that vision, only I could experience that what is there. So he said, you know what I saw, what I experienced. He saw that there is this Kali, there is this Rudrani who is there. She is having all the big, her lengths of her hands are infinite, no, as if she was embracing the entire universe. She had the 3 netras. She also, Kali also has this 3 netras. She had this very white teeth. All the nakshatras and all this were appearing like her teeth. She had this red color tongue. She had this eyes completely like the Prajwala, that Agni was there. So her red eyes were there. Her entire color was like a Neela, the blue and the black. No, because of that, she was termed as a Kali, as a black, as a Kali. So then all her, one point of time, all her mastak or her head will appear only single. At other point of time, she will be seen as there are multiple heads, and at another point of time, within the no matter of fraction of a second, in a kshana matra, she will be observed with no head. No, so she will go headless. So like this, even she will be observed with one leg, and then in the second time she will have multiple such legs, and sometimes she will go even the legless. So all these different vichitra and miraculous experiences of this Shakti is being observed by Vasishtha Muni in the form of a Kali. Then he explains all the other body parts also. It is kind of equivalent to this universal things that we see. So she says that in her ears, she is wearing those earrings in the form of a skulls. No, the entire skulls and entire body, that kankala is there. No, that entire your bone structure, that skeleton is hanging as her earrings. No, in even around her neck also, if you see, there is a garland of all the skulls that is there. If you see her udara, the stomach, even there also. So there is a very descriptive varnan of this Kali, this Rudra Shakti is been made here. It's a good idea to go ahead and read about it in detail. So all the all her skin was very delicate, so we could even see all the things, bones inside her, all the different the veins that were flowing through her. So all these things were that, because it was like it was a transparent structure, but there was no physical structure, it was a transparent structure, so all these things were visible. So if you see all the, she was wearing all the mountains and all the things, no, on the all the things, like all the this rivers that were like going like a necklace around her, and then the entire garland of all the things she were wearing. So it is actually the Swarupa, that Varnana of that Kali is said to be so Mahabhayankar. It is so frightening, and because of that, even Vasishtha Muni said that when I saw that initial Swarupa of that, then I noticed that, oh, she is the one, that Kala Ratri, and then I bow down to that Kala Ratri. So he offers his prayer to that Kala Ratri, and he was looking at it at very distance, very in a very subtle form, in the form of a Chidakasha. Is only he's looking at such things are happening inside that just one Pashana, this entire Brahmand and this entire universe. It's happening and it's going through the pralaya, going to the destruction and the transformation. And in that process, he happens to see all this thing, that Rudra comes into picture, and that Rudrani also comes to picture. So when the Rudra is doing that Tandava, this Rudrani, all around him, she is also doing the Nritya. She is also happens to see him to do dance with Rudra there. So like that, he continues to explain details of this. This Kali is doing that Nritya Vilasa. She is like doing dancing in the entire universe. No? This entire universe is been wrapped, it's been covered with that Shakti that is there. It is that with that she is doing. So even if when she is breathing, it's like n number of lightning, n number of that air that blows, and that it will make the very big sound, like that sound that was getting created, and all these things. I appeared that this was having that complete Kriya Shakti, complete Spandana Shakti, complete Chanchalta was there in that Shakti, and that is what I was seeing. It was in that Swabhava of Shakti, that Spanda, that vibration, that energy it was very obvious on her Sharira. She was wearing all the Kailasa, Sayya, Meru, all these mountains, etc., etc. If you look at her chest, at the level of chest, she was wearing all the there is something called as the necklace of that special type of pearls will be there. They are called Indranil. So she was wearing that Indranil, that kind of ornament. So there is a very descriptive varnan that is given of this. So even if you see it from the perspective of all the seasons, such as you have different rutus and the seasons, and there are 2 ayanas of 6 months in this, and there are all these rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, they are flowing through. So like that, also the pearls of that ornament that was there inside around her neck. No? So like this, different other things also it's been said there, where this pot, there were this thali, there were this plate, then there was this tupa, that pillar, then all these things, there are different things like that he saw in that Kali and in his Swarupa. So like that she is also called as Bhairavi. No? The one Rudra that we saw, that Rudra is also called as Bhairav. Now the same Shakti, the same Kali Shakti, Vaashishtha Muni also see it her in the form of the knowledge also, the Saraswati also. So that same Kali, that same Shakti also is seen in the form of Saraswati. So that is where he mentions to Rama, this same Kali, we also is the source of that Vimala Vijnana, that Vimala Jnana, that Sadabuddhi, that intellect, that Buddhi, that knowledge is that there, where because of that Sat Karma Rupa, she also gets into the Rupa of the Saraswati. Now Saraswati is the goddess of knowledge. So that thing, if you see, because in her earrings, she was also wearing this Dharma and Adharma, Punya and Papa. So that they become her Karna Bhushana. No, they were wrapping like a Karma Bhushana of that Saraswati. And if you see, out of her stana, that milk of Gyan, that Gyana Ganga was flowing through. No, inside that, if you see all the different types of Aishwaryas, the Vaibhavas, all the wealth, where that knowledge of wealth were there with her. And then in that thing, she was as if she was making a sound of all the Vedas that were going through. So all the Deva and all the 14 types of Bhuvanas, etc., were there as a part of her, that on the skin, there is a thin layer of the hairs will be there. It was there like that, it was present over there. So if you see all the mountains and all the Dvip, Parvatadi, etc., all the Stavar and Jangam, all the movable and the non-movable were also present inside that thing, and they used to collide with each other. And in that avastha, that chanchal, that asthir avastha, that is where I happened to stand at a far space, and I was able to see all that thing happening over there. So like this, I saw that all these things were happening there, like this. Okay, let's continue that. When we saw this, what is this Saraswati? So this is a very beautiful shloka that even when we start your studies, that point of time, it's been chanted, no? Namami Sharada Devi Vina Pustakadharini Vidya Rambham Karishami Prasannastu Chasa. That, hey Saraswati, hey goddess of Saraswati, I am starting to do my studies, and at this point of time, I bow down to you. I am offering my prayer to you. And this Sharada, this Saraswati, is also addressed with another shloka. No? Ya kundendutu sharhar dhavala ya shubravasta vruta ya veena varadanda mandi takara ya shveta padma sana ya brahma chita shankara prabhutibhir devai sada vandita samam patu sarasvati bhagavati nishesazadya paham. So this was the prayer. I actually studied that name of my school where Saraswati Vidya Mandir, and we used to chant this every single day, offer and prayer to Saraswati. That's the reason it's called the knowledge, that Saraswati is the form of that Shakti which represents the knowledge, and it helps us, no, in the form of knowledge. So there is a very descriptive varnan of such a Saraswati. It's being given over here. Now let's proceed. What is there in the what is there to come up? Here we say that this Kali and this there, in that deha of this Kali, I saw the opposite things that exist go together. So this is where that knowledge of that opposite values complements to each other comes into picture. He says that Rama, in this Sharira of that Ananta Koti Sharira, in that Bhut and Bhavishya, Sarga and Pralay, I saw the both things happening simultaneously here. I saw in that Tandava there is a Brahma, there is a Indra, there is a Vishnu, there is a Hara, Agni, Surya, Chandra, etc. Adhikarik, all the Devas and Asuras, all the demons that were going on with the air flowing in there, they were also were there. In the lightning sound of that thing, all the different pranis, all the different animals, they used to be getting nashed. They used to getting nashed. They used to get destructed over there. In that Sharira, that Srishti, that entire universe getting created, and at the same time it was getting the destroyed also. So all these different Virat Swarupa of that Kali is observed by that thing. So if you see, and then all these things were happening on its own. They're not mixture of anything over there. So like this, he saw that in that thing, in that kosha, in that Sharira, that Utpat Shanti, that Marana Jagan, Yuddha Sakyadesh, all the so in different bhavs of this duality that coexisted there inside that Swarupa. So because even though it appears to be in different forms, yet it is there in the one form, that a non-duality still exists, but it will appear as a duality to you. So like that, he also says that it is the same Devi, it is the same Kali, it also same Shakti, that also is observed in the form of a Kriya Shakti. So what is that Kriya Rupa? What is that Kriya Rasya? So if you see that in this entire Srishti, there are so many activities that keeps on going. So this Kriya, that Karan of that Kriya, that Shakti which is behind any action, it is the same Shakti. It is the same thing. So for example, if you see that the Kumbhar is there, the potter is there, and the potter is making the pot. So what is it, the Karya Karan Bhav that is there, which is there behind it? It is that Karya Karan Bhav is that Chakra, Kati, Mati, etc. What is there in that Shakti that is there, which is nihit in all these things, that energy is there. So in all the sadhanas, in all the things that appears to in this world to be happening, if there is an activity that is happening, it is the same Kriya Shakti which is there behind this. No? So like this, in this Shakti also, if you see in the all the other things, that Karta, Karma, Karan, that cause and effect, in that also the same Shakti will be there. The energy can neither be created nor be destroyed from, and it can be but just transformed from one form to another. Like that, this same Shakti form appear in different ways. But Vastuta, it is the same Shakti that will be there. So this Vastuta Mula, that Avidya, Avarana, that Avarana of that Maya which is there around that Shunya, and that Keval Chidrup is there in that thing. It is in reality the Swarupa of this is that Mula Tattva, that Shanta, that Shiva Tattva that is there. And in reality it is Prapancha Shunya. So there is no that thing is there. But yet it has become the support system for this Baddhya, this individual consciousness for this thing. It acts in the form of the Prakriti, it acts in the form of nature, it acts in the form of that energy, that support system which is there. So like this, here Vaashishtha Muni said that if one is seeking that freedom, one is seeking that moksha, then along with the Bhairava, one has to even offer the prayer to the Kali also. Bhairava is also that Bhairava, that it's another form of the Shiva. So with that Bhairava, we need to offer the prayer to the Bhairavi also, that is to the Kali also. So there is one very beautiful shloka that has been given. I'll recite that for you. And that is something which you can always refer into the book also. Vande manaha so api tathaiva akasha bhairava tathaiva vitata karha tadocha parinitati dimba sudimba pacha sahasa jamya prajamya nrityati shabdavadyehi srijanam urasi shiraha shekarha taksha pakshahi purna rakta savanam yam mahisha महाशृंगमादाय पाणौ पायात वंद्यमानः प्रलय मुदितय भैरव काल रात्रि। तो यहाँ पे वही बोलते कि यह सब कुछ जो वर्णन यहाँ पे इसका किया गया है, यह सब वर्णन किसी और का ना होकर यह उस काल रात्रि का ही वर्णन यहाँ पे किया गया है, ऐसे ही इस श्लोक में बताते हैं। तो इसका थोड़ा ये देख लेते कि इसका मीनिंग भी क्या है। तो यहाँ इफ यू सी द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस, इट से दैट इट इज दैट भैरवी, it is the Bhairav of the form of the Rudra, form of the Shiva. It also have that complementing energy called Bhairavi. It is that Bhairavi which is omnipresent in that entire Brahmanda, that Akasha, and that Bhairava Kal, that Kalpanta Rudra, it is there that it is doing offering and prayer to that Rudra, and then it is doing the dance around. It is the same thing that Bhairavi, it's the same thing that Kali, and then it is acting, it is dancing around that. That Kali Chaya is what we spoke, it is dancing around that. And at that point time it is making those different sounds also. The sounds such as which one? Dimba and Dimba and Sudimba. And there is a meaning of this to both the sounds that has been given here. He says Rama, in this Bhairava Vadya, there is a special thing called Bhairava Vadya. In that, if you play that, it will be appearing this sound such as Dimba, Dimba and Sudimba. So if you say there is a Shabda, if you see the meaning of this, this in Bhairava, this all the animals, all the prani, that is Dimba, means that anartha, that thing, that bhoga, that five senses and its outgoing activities in the upadhi rup, that soul, that thing is represent in the prapancha. To that also you completely eat. That is what is mean by this dimba. And then one more time there comes the dimba. That point of time say that okay, that this physical, this grassroots level body, you have already finished, you have consumed that. Now you go on to the subtle next level also, all the chitta and all that other thing also, that dimba, that sukshma sharira, that subtle body, that thing which is also into this prapancha, you eat that also, finish it up that also. So the physical sharup, this appearance of this, you eat it up, and then the subtle root, that also you completely eat it up. And then after that, this comes in the something called as Sudimba. What is that Sudimba? Is that it is then you go into the Moola Sarupa of this, that thing, that Sharira, that Antim Sakshatkara, that Tattva Avirbhut, that you become one with that Chaitanya, that thing that is there. And then after eating of this completing, which is appearance on the physical swarupa of your thing, then you once 1, 2, 3 is finished, then you go into the all the other levels of the Gyan Bhumika, the sixth, the fifth, sixth and seventh Yoga Bhumika, and then like that you completely established and become the Jivan Mukta, completely achieve the freedom in there like this. And that point of time, after leaving your body, you completely achieve the Videha Mukti. That is what is been explained here. Now, whatever this Varnan, that this description of this Kali been said here, there is a meaning for that. No? What is been said here, there is special meaning for that. They will look into that meaning also in this next chapter called 115th subchapter of Pashanatya. So here he says that this Shiva and this Kali, they are actually not two different people here, or there are not two different forms here. It is being the same Sarupa of that Shiva, which comes into the Shunya Avastha, which comes into the non-vibrating, that Shant Avastha, it is called as Shiva. And it is the same Shiva which comes into the form of that activity, that Kriya Shakti, that Spandana, that vibration, that energy. It's the same Shiva that takes the form of the Shiva. That same Shiva takes the form of the Shiva. Shiva is that Shakti. No, that Shakti is also called as Shiva. This is also another name, Shiva and Shiva. So that is also another name of that. So here, when all these things were happening, and when Vasishtha Muni said that this Kali Nritya, it was so vilakshan, it was so miraculous that were happening. That point of time, Rama asked this question that, hey Mune, whatever you have mentioned about this Kali, which is dancing around that Rudra, and you have explained the Varnan, you have answered the forms, the one which is formless, the one which you have experienced, only you have explained about that also. What is that? What is the Swarupa of that? What is the form of that? Why it has been depicted that she is wearing all these other things, such as the soup, that stamba, that Udad, Ukhad, etc. That Stambha, everything what she was wearing. Why it is said like that? What is the real Guhyarth, that deeper meaning of this, philosophical meaning of this form that is being explained here? That is where the Vashishtha says that, hey Rama, that thing I already told you, the Shiva, Kali, that miraculous, that rahasya, that thing behind this thing is, I will tell you now, you listen to this. So yesterday we saw that Shiva and that Rudra, and the real deeper meaning of that was told by Gurudev to us. Now we'll listen to this thing, what is the deeper meaning of that Shiva and deeper meaning of that Kali, which is there, also called as that Spandana Shakti, that vibrating, the vibrant energy, that Spandan Shakti is there, also known as the Maya, the delusion, illusion, that Maya Kali. What is it? That it is in the form of that Spandan Shakti, it is in the form that Agni. So like that, if you see, so if you see is that Maya and Kali, if you see that Vayu and its Spandan, Prana is there and its Spandan, vibrating energy, Agni, the fire, and its hotness, Ushnata. Like that, how it is, are they different? They are the same. The Agni and its Ushnata, they are not different, they are same. No, that Vayu and its Spandan, are they different? They are not different, they are same. Like that, this Shiva and Shiva, they are same. That Chinmatra and that Spanda Shakti, Artha, that Kriya Shakti, that is only one only. So he continued to explain, if you see, if once that Shiva, that becomes the Shiva, it takes into the form of Shakti, it comes into the form of action, vibration, energy, Kriya Shakti, Ichcha Shakti, then that is what start expanding itself into the different Swarupa. So that is what is being explained over here, that it is the Sa Akamayat Bahusya Praja Ega Tad Dakshita. So this is the thing, that is that I exist in the form of that Prajarupa, like that Ichcha, like that desire that comes into picture, and doing the following, that in the Shruti Vachanas, if you listen to the Shruti and read the Shruti, there is this word comes, Ka Mayata. No? So in that thing, that is that Shiva's desire, that Shiva's Ichcha, that comes into picture, and into that Satya Kama, into that Satya Sankalpa, that thing into the Manorajya of Shiva, this Shiva, that Shiva, in the Manorajya of that Shiva, that is the Shakti, that thing expand itself into the form. Now this is the another iota of the expansion of this creation of this world, is given from the perspective of this Shiva and Shakti. So when that Ichcha comes into there, then it creates this Kalpana, all the imaginated, all these different things. It is the Shiva's Ichcha to expand like this, because it is having that Chanchalta, it is having that Kriya, that action, that Spandan in there. So it doesn't want to stay calm. No? So that Shiva. Shiva means not the Lord Shiva. Shiva, we also call that as Shiva. That is not that. Shiva and Shiva. Shiva means this Shakti is what we are referring. So it is this Shiva. It is this Shakti. It has this Chitta Shakti, Jiva Kala, and the Jiva Chaitanya, etc. With the different names, we also refer to that. So in this Rama, that Nati, that Upasak, the one who are wise, wisdom, that is what is there into the different namas, into the different forms. This same thing, then same Shakti is referred to as, and then there is a Kalistavan. That Kalistavan is that 8 shlokas are there in which this same Shakti is been addressed and expressed in very different. It's very beautiful. I'll read it for you, and then we'll see step by step the meaning of each of these 8 shlokas which comes under the Kalistavan. So here it goes like this: Prakriti tvena sargasya swayam prakrititam gataha drishya bhasanubhutanam karnat sa uchchate kriya vadvagni shikha shoshat shushka iti katyate chandit tatva chandika prokta sa utpala varnataha jaya kanishtatvat siddha siddhis samashrayat jayanti cha jaya prokta vijayashrayat prokta aparajita viryat durga rupahata omkar sar shaktitvat uma iti parikirtata gayatri गायत्वत्मानां सावित्री प्रसवस्थिते शरणात् सर्वदृष्टीनां कार्तिकशा सरस्वती गौरी गौरांग देहत्पाद देहानुष षडगिनी सुप्तानाम अथ बुद्धानाम अमत्राउ अमात्रौ चारणात् हृदय नित्यं त्रैलोक्य भूतानाम उमा इति इंदुकला उच्यते शिवयोः व्योमो रूपतत्व असितं लक्ष्यते वपु काली कमलिनी काली क्रिया ब्रह्मांड काली धत्ते स्व अवययी भूतानाम दृश्य लक्ष्मी इमाम हृदय. So these are the Kali Stavan, these are the 8 shlokas of that where this same Shakti, how it takes the so many different forms and expresses itself into different forms. This is so amazing, is something that we look at now. So like this, he says, Vashtavni Rama, like this Jagat Kali Parigram, that is what is being said into the Maya, Tum Prakrutim Vidyata Ityadi. In the Sruti Vashna, the same Shakti, the same Kali is also referred to as that Prakriti. No, it is also referred to as Kriya, that action that is there in that earth. There are 4 types of action that can happen. No? So the one is the creation, the utpatti. The second is the apti, that whatever is something which is already created, achieving that, having that. No? That is the apti. Then comes the vikruti, that whatever is there, that change that happens in that is called as vikruti. And then the sanskara, in the vastu, in the thing, that gunadharma, those qualities, that appearance of that gunadharma, removing the apayana, that dosha, that vikaras, that doshas, no, that thing, removing that and bringing into the good quality in picture. For example, this rajas and tamas guna, removing that and bringing into the sattva guna, dawning the sattva guna, is what is called as sanskara. No? So why it is called that? Oh, give good sanskaras. Why it is good sanskara? Why it is sanskara? So that meaning is very open now. It's become crystal clear now. What is this sanskara is all about? So if you look at this Sanskrita, Prakriti Swarupana. So if you see it from the perspective of Shastra, that is because of all these things, as it is that source of this, it is also called as Kriya Rupini. So that is the first shloka. It is called as Kriya Rupini. That is there. Now, if you see, then the second shloka continues. If we see in the Puranas, it is called as Dvipacharma Paridhana Shushkamasati Vaibhava. So it is explained like this. So it's also called as Shushka. Shushka means that completely that light energy. So Rama, in this at the time of this Pralaya Kala, at the time of this, all these oceans and all this, that completely gets into this by Jala, and in that Brahmanda, just like if there is a summer season that comes into picture, that Vadvagnya, that Bharaditya, that comes into picture, that Jwala comes into picture, that fire comes into picture, and in that Agni Golakunda, in that fire, this entire thing becomes completely dried out. That humidity is completely dried out. So also it is called as Shushka. It becomes that thin, like just a small stick, like that you will become, and then that will become that Shushka, that thing like that. Because of that, then it will also become the Krodhavita, because of the anger. It is also called as Chandika. And like this, if you see that Rakta Kamalams, if you look at her eyes, those eyes will be like a red hot, no, because of that Angavarna. She is also called as Utpala. So this, if you see all the Navaratris and all the things, so there are different names that the same Shakti is being called up. So see, even if you look at it from the perspective of the mother, if you look at the perspective of your sister or your wife in the Nari Shakti, see how many different roles they play, how many different things that they do throughout a day. No, they do sometimes job also, they do take care of everything, they do cooking for you. No, they take care of everything. No, so many things, so many different aspects. The same Shakti takes the form of, when she becomes in the form of a wife, she will appear different. The same thing will take in the form of mother, she will appear different. The same thing, she will come in the form of sister, she will appear. So many different rupas, so many different things. No, really, this is fantastic. Here also we say that this Shakti, which appears into so many different forms. So that is what is said. It appears as the Chandika and Pala in the second shloka. In the third shloka, as it always it has that nishchaya, that commitment to be Jaya. Jaya means that victory, and then as it is always gets that victory, which she is also known as that Vijaya and Jayanti. So Jaya, Vijaya and Jayanti are also three different forms of that. And because she achieves this in her life, because she says this as a founding principle, she is also known as Siddha and the Siddhi. No, so we see the Siddhi Datri, Kalaratri, those different names in the thing. So that is coming into this Kalistavana in a detailed form. That is the shloka number 3. So if you receive the shloka number 4 here, she is also called as, because she is having that valor. No, she is able to destroy all the demons because of that, and always she will win. You cannot so she will always win that, and she is Mahaparakrami. Because of that, she is also called as Aparajita, the one who cannot be defeated. Now that Aparajita, that Swarupa, if you see, and then that Swarupa, if you do that Grahan of that thing, now it is very difficult to absorb that thing. Because of that thing, she is also referred as, is very famous with the name of Durga. So like that. So she is Durga, and if you see it from the perspective of that, she also have that iota of that Omkara. No? So if you see that Omkara is that Sarasha, it's the essence of that thing. So how does it become Uma then? So if you see the what is there in Omkara, it is the those three sounds, the U, and Ma. If you just rearrange this Ma as U, Ma, and then what it becomes? U, Ma, combined together becomes Ma. So the same Om becomes Uma. So it's not different, it's same. No, so beautifully it is explained here. The same Om takes the form of the Uma. No? Uma. U, that U, Ma, and Uma. No, like that. If you see this Rachna, then this Uma words comes into picture. So teach them and then cutting. So very beautifully, it is in the 4th shloka. It says that she is known as Aparajita, Durga, and also as Uma. Now, as she also is dancing, she is doing the singing, Gayan, all these things. Because of that, all the people also worship her, do the japa of that Gayatri mantra is there. No? Because of that only it's the Gayatri mantra. So that is that the Parama Purushartha, that Moksha Sarupa, she is also known as Gayatri. And from that Prasava Janma, that she is the one who gives the birth. Because of she is also called as Savitri. Prasavitri, the Prasava Kriya, we say that labor pain is that there is a Prasava happening, and then the Prasava pain is there. That because of that Prasavitri, so because of that she is also called as Savitri. Such a beautiful meaning, no? That Prasava thing that is happening, because of that is Prasavitri, that Savitri comes into picture. And into the Swargadi, that Mokshadi Sadhana, if you say that it is because of that Adhishtatri Devata, that knowledge that is there, that goddess of that knowledge is called as Saraswati. So in the 5th shloka, as this, she is also known as Gayatri, she is also called as Savitri, she is called as Saraswati. So many different forms in which this Shakti comes into our life and makes our life Purna. And so it's without that it doesn't become Purna. That same thing. It makes your life full, it makes your life complete. As her color is that she also appears in the form of Gaura Varna. No? Because of that, she is also referred to as Gauri. And this, she is also having that Bhava, that feelings inside there. Because of that Ishvara, that Bhava is always being one with the Shiva, always being one with that Ishvara. So that Bhavana is there inside her. Because of that, she is also called as Bhava. So that goes into the shloka number 6. So he says Rama, he says Vaishnava, this is Rama. If you see in all this Sharira, is all the body of this, there is a Akhanda, that Dhvani, Akhanda, there is a, that is going on, called as Nada Brahma, that Omkara, Ma. And if you these 3 matras put together, that thing is also called something which is said, cannot say it as a matra, and then in that Swarupa, that Rudra Kamala, she is also called as Daharakash. No, that is being famous. It is that Sukshma, a deep space that is there. In the Angushtikar, Linga is there in the Pindisthit. That is Shiva Sambhu is there in that Mastaka Rupa. On that there is a moon. That is it. So because of that, Shiva's one name also the Soma. The Soma Ishvara. Soma means the moon, and the Ishvara of Soma means moon, means the Shiva, Someshwar, the meaning of that thing. So the one who is holding that, it's also known as the Chandra Maulishwar, the one who is holding that Chandra on his forehead. That Chandra, and then what happens to Chandra? Chandra goes through the 16 kalas, no, the different. Because of that, this the Shakti is also known as Chandrakala, and it is also known as Indukala. Indu is also the same Chandra. It's also known as Indukala. Artha, this, etc. So same, it is the same Uma only, but referred to as this is different name. So like this Shiva, the Shiva and the Shiva, like that, this is completely into the Akasha Sarupa, into that Sharir of Akash. How is the Akasha? Is there any color of that Akasha? We see it as Neela from here. So sometimes the Kali is shown as Neela also, in the blue color also. Or else, if you see the entire Akasha, the space, there is nothing. There is no light. There is nothing. It is in the form of that blackness. Because of that, she is also called as Kali. So that goes into the shloka number 6 and 7. So that is Rama, and again this is referred to as Kali. So if you look at why it is called as Kali, so there is very beautiful meaning of this word Kali is also explained over here. What is it that it says that Kali has come from the word called Kala. Kala dhatu. So this is dhatu means these are the adjectives and all that thing. It's got the verb and that things in here. So if you see that Kala means not the past after that. Kala. What is it that Kala? It refers to the speed and the Kriya, action, and the knowledge. So it is referring to that from the perspective of your intellect is referred to as Gati and Kriya, speed and action is called as Kala. Then because of this, in this entire universe, there are those activities that are happening. There are these Kriyas and weak Kriyas are happening. And this is continuously making this world undergo through continuous transformation. So if you look at this body, if you look at this is continuously going through continuous transformation. It is not the same. It is not the same bone. It's not the same skin that you carry when you had at the time of birth. It is continuously, it is recycling. It is going into change continuously. So this Kriya and this Vikriya that is happening in this Lakshavadi Brahmanda Sarupa, into that Bija Kosha, into the seed of that is called as Kalika. And that Kalika, the one, why it is called as Kalika? The one which is doing the Kalana. So if you notice that at the time of when we spoke about the that it goes through the Kalana, that process of Kalana, that your Jiva Bhava is there and their body is destroyed, and in that Chitta, at the level of Chitta, it takes the new form of the new life. That process of that is called as Kalana. That thing, that transformation that happens is called as Kalana. Because of that thing is going on, that Anusita Kriya, that is the one which is responsible, the one which is the source of that Kalana, which makes it happen. This is called as Kalika. Because of that thing, and because of that Kamalini, because of that Kamalini and that Kali, that Shama Varna, that is called as Prithvi Loka, etc. is called as Kali. The same Kali appears into the form of the Drishya. Same Kamala Pushpa, because just like the Kamala Pushpa, which they at the level of her heart, she carries that. Because of that, the Brahmanda Sharini, that Kriya Rupa, Antarbhaya, Khandaspandana, that Kamala Pushpa, that thing is all these Kalis. These are all the Avayava, these are all the Angas of the Kali that has been said in the Shloka, 8th Shloka. So like this, he explains that these are all the Kalistavan, these are all the Rupas of that Shakti, which manifests this entire world, which protects this entire world, which is continuous, all the actions, all the happening that happening. It is because of this Shakti that it continues. It's the same Shakti that gets into the form of your Yajna Rupa. When you do the Yajna, that point of time, that that Dvayat Dana, that donation that we do, that's Nayat Snana, that's Suchirbhut, and then that Jiharth State, Sarvaj Devata Sashti Patir Pavitra Padatha. So what is it that we, when we do the yajna, we offer all these things to the yajna. All these things. So if you see that this a pavitra thing, that yajna we see in the Vedic karma, this yajna is there. So that yajna is also that if you look at it from the spiritual and the adhyatma perspective, it is also that offering all your things and become free. Like that, that Kali, that Swarupa is there. It's a Srishti Swarupa. So if you see that yajna, the form of yajna, here this Kali is the yajna that is happening this entire Srishti. So like that. So such a Kali, she also, after performing, after doing her all the routine, her action, her duties, she also then gets the sparsha of that Rudra, gets the sparsha of that Shiva. And once she becomes the sparsha, she experiences that chanchala swabhava, that thing becomes one with that Shiva, experience the bliss, then she gets dissolved into that. So that big Kali, that big Shakti, that big Rupa will dissolve into the Shiva. So like that Shiva, because of that only she is called as Shiva also. Why Shiva and Shiva? It is not different than Shiva. She is the same Shakti of Kali. So that is called as Shiva. So always look for the Shiva Tattva in this Kali also. And do the chintana of that. Remember that, take a name of that, remember that Shakti, bow down to her, offer your prayer to her, to such a Shakti, that thing. And such a Kali also finally will become one with the Shiva. Like that, that is being explained over here in detail. Such a amazing knowledge, such a depth of knowledge, such a fantastic insight. So there is same Shakti is also referred to as Spandana Shakti. No, we also seen this earlier, that Shiva is there, which is Shanta, that thing which is without any vibration. And the moment it comes in the form of Kriya, the moment it comes in the form of that Spandana, that vibration, that is called as Spandana Shakti. So that Spandana Shakti, because of Spandarupi Shakti, all this Prakriti, it expands itself into the form of this Jagat. It is because of that Shiva and the Shakti's expansion become this entire world. Like that, it's been explained. And after that, then when the at a time of Pralaya, again it thinks, it just pulls that thing, everything within, and becomes one with the Shiva. And then after happening all this thing, that Shiva is also get into his own state. What is the nature of Shiva? It is that Shant, that peaceful, that blissful, that Satyachita, then Satyam Shivam Sundaram, that it gets into that Satyam Shivam Sundaram, that Satyachita Ananda Swarupa of Shiva. It becomes Shant, it gets into that. So that Rudra Chaya, that also becomes peaceful, become one with this. And then she also dissolves into Shiva, becomes one with the Shiva, like this. And he says that, Rama, I saw this, just like if somebody who comes from the village and they have suddenly shown the helicopters and the rockets and things and some miraculous things happening here, how they will wonderstruck and continue to look at that. Like that, hey Rama, I was watching all this thing, like, and there was some sci-fi action, some movies going on, like that Chitrapata, this Mithya Vibram, I saw inside that Pashana, all this thing I happened, and then I become the Mati Gunga. I become like wonderstruck into that thing, like a villager who would probably watch something, the miraculous Vaibhav, the thing, or miraculous thing that he is been portrayed with is been appearing. Like that thing, I become completely wonderstruck looking at this. And no doubt, even by listening to this thing, even a descriptive listening of this itself put us into that wonderstruck thing. Imagine that what would have happened with Vaashishtha Muni. That is where this particular chapter also concludes. So let us look at that, what Gurudev talks about this Kali, and then we'll open up this session for you to express yourself. Let us watch that video.
जो बिंदु है वो खाली है। ये कालीपन होने से तुम्हें रोशनी दिखती है। आंख में यदि वो कालापन जो है वो यदि मिट जाता है तो रोशनी चली जाती है। तुम्हें दिन में ज्यादा दिखता है कि रात में, बताओ? हाँ? दिन में सूरज होता है तो तुम कहोगे कि दिन में ज्यादा दिखता है। मैंने कहा नहीं, रात में ही तुम्हें ज्यादा दिखता है। रात होने के वजह से हमको पता चला ब्रह्मांड में सिर्फ एक सूर्य नहीं, अनेक सूर्य है। ये ब्रह्मांड अनंत कोटि ब्रह्मांड है, तारे सितारों का है। और एक नहीं, ऐसे हजारों ब्रह्मांडों का पता कब चला? दिन में चला है, रात को? दिन में कोई कुछ नहीं, एक ग्रह को भी नहीं पता लगा पाएंगे। रात को हमने हजारों मील दूर की जो तारे सितारे सब पता लगा लेते हैं। इसलिए रात ज्ञान दात्री है। इसीलिए रात्रि को बहुत माना। रात्रि सूक्त करके एक ऋग्वेद में सूक्त है, रात्रि सूक्त। और रात्रि को ही काला जो ज्ञान को तुम्हारे भीतर उपजाए, जो तुम्हारे भीतर ज्ञान को उपजाए, वो काली शक्ति है। और उसका क्या, हाथ कटी हुई हाथ कमरों में बांधी हुई है। इसका मतलब क्या? करने से नहीं। और जीभ बाहर लटकी है, इसका अर्थ क्या है? जीभ बाहर लटका के आवाज करके देखो, कर सकते हो क्या? आवाज नहीं निकलेगी, शब्द नहीं निकलेगा। इसलिए शब्द के परे है मां। वो शक्ति को वर्णित नहीं किया जा सकता है, वर्णन नहीं किया जा सकता है। उस शक्ति का वर्णन नहीं कर सकते, या उस शक्ति को वर्णन नहीं किया जा सकता है। इसीलिए जीभ बाहर लटकी है, मतलब मौन हो गया, मन मस्त हो गया, मन मौन हो गया। और भीकर क्यों है? जो भी अगाध है, अनंत है, वो छोटे मन को डर पैदा करता है। बच्चे दिन में कोई नहीं डरते, रात को ही डरते। क्यों? रात इतना गहरी है, जो गहरी है उसमें डर भी पैदा होता है। इसलिए डरावना जैसे रूप, जो डरावना रूप को तुमने स्वीकार कर लिया तो जीवन में डर कहाँ रहेगी? जीवन से डर पूरी तरह से समाप्त हो जाएगी। इसी को कहते हुए पुराने ऋषि मुनियों ने काली को ऐसा खड़ा कर दी। और शिव के ऊपर काली खड़ी है। शिव माने क्या? शांत तत्व, मंगल कर तत्व, सबको मंगलमय करने वाली तत्व, मंगल दाता। उस मंगल दाता की जो चैतन्य में उपज होती है, ज्ञान उठता है, वही काली है। और काली यदि इतना जो शक्तिशाली है, और उस शक्ति को थामने के लिए शिव तत्व की आवश्यकता है। भाई सुलझे हुए समझे हुए आदमी के हाथ में न्यूक्लियर पावर भी रहे, वो समाज के कल्याण के लिए उसको प्रयोग करेगा। ऐसे मंगलमय मनोभावना नहीं है तो उस आदमी के हाथ में एक छोटी सी चाकू भी घातक होगी। काली जैसे अद्भुत शक्ति शिव के ऊपर खड़ी है, माने शिव तत्व के आधार पर ये शक्ति रहे तो वो मंगलमय ही होगी, ये बताने के लिए। फिर एक हाथ में गर्दन काटा हुआ और एक राक्षस का हाथ में पकड़ी हुआ है। इसका क्या अर्थ है? हमारी जो सारी समस्या है वो मस्तिष्क से है, दिल से कभी समस्या नहीं होती। काम, क्रोध, मोह, लोभ, मद, मात्सर, ये सब जो दुर्गुण है वो सिर्फ मस्तिष्क से ही होता है। तो ऐसा मस्तिष्क कट गया, वो हाथ में पकड़ गया। और रुंड माला तरह तरह की खोपड़ी है दुनिया में। तरह तरह के लोग होने पर भी जब खोपड़ी हो जाता सब एक हो जाते हैं। ऐसी वो वैविध्यता को एक में कर देने वाली जो शक्ति है वो ज्ञान शक्ति है। हाँ? आप देखो, एक ही बिजली है, उस बिजली से ये पंखे चले, ये बत्ती जले, वॉशिंग मशीन चले, या तुम्हारे घर पे चूल्हा चले, कुकर चले, ये सब चलने वाली तो अलग अलग है। ये अलग अलग रुंड है, मगर उसकी माला किस में फिरोया हुआ है? ये सब एक विद्युत से। ऐसे ही काली एक विद्युत शक्ति है, उसको दर्शाता है। इसलिए शक्ति की आराधना में ये बड़ी वैशिष्टता है कि काली से शुरू ही करते हैं, फिर दुर्गा, फिर लक्ष्मी, ये सब, फिर आखिरी में सरस्वती पूजा से समाप्त होता है। सरस्वती एकदम शांत तत्व है।
If you like this video, don't forget to click the like button, comment and share.
So that is where we were listening to Gurudev about talking about the Kala Ratri, that is the Kali. So this is Sarupa of Kali. This is the depiction. This is that whatever we saw, this is the root, that is the Vihar, that philosophical meaning behind all these things, the way it is being depicted. And there is a very deep meaning of that, which we also heard from Gurudev. So with this note from Gurudev, I'd like to open this session for you all. You're welcome to unmute yourself and speak. If there are any questions, you are welcome to ask that. If you would like to do the contribution, if you'd like to share your experience, your takeaways from the session, you are welcome to do that.
Thank you, Someshwarji, for enlightening session today. It was very informative also, of course, wanderlust also. Everything was there in that. It was amazing. And we could see the different roots of Kali, that is the Shakti. And lastly, when Gurudev explained how that Kali is standing on the Shiv Tattva, that was very nice. So then what happens is, when the Kali stands on the Shiv Tattva, it works very, it works with a focused thing, and it works in a positive way. So that is very much necessary. And then everything is like Mangal, means it is working for the betterment of for everything. So that was very nice, and seeing how blackness, how that darkness, is connected so that we can see the light. So the whole thing is with the darkness. I'm sorry, I need to close the door, but I don't know if it works then. Sorry for that. Yeah. Oh. Okay. So that darkness, that Kali Ratri, that is so deep, and it is so fearful also, if you see that. So then you come out of that fear. So even that is there. And all this, with the knowledge, how you see the knowledge in that, how it dawns. Said ki we can see Kali with a cut tongue, like there is now what will you talk with that? So it means you come into that silence. So that was also so beautiful, that maun aa jata hai wo andar mein. You cannot, there is nothing to express in that, and the person goes so much into that maun. So all these are all experiences actually. These are just, the words they have been used and described so that we, align ourselves with that. And also, of course, that was a very new thing also, ki how all the problems, in your life comes through your head. Everything, आप घर में बोलो, कुछ भी बोलो, क्या भी, whatever, it all comes from your head, and then cuts off your head only. So that is all very nice. There inside you just goes off, and you are just connected to the source. Even that was very nice. Yeah. And one more thing I would like to say is, it is, as Gurudev said, there is only one electricity, and that electricity connects all. Everything in the house, all the appliances function with that one electricity. So exactly in the same way, we all have that one, we are connected to that, and then we keep on, everything keeps on functioning. So then this is also very nice. So everything, the whole, actually I'll tell you, there are so many takeaways. And the last one is that Kali, that one Shakti, which becomes a Durga, which becomes a Lakshmi, and it transforms into the Saraswati. I would like to say that it becomes a Durga, means it diminishes all the demons inside, that power, that demon, you can cut off all the demons here with their head. And it becomes a Lakshmi Roop. Lakshmi means it gives that, Lakshmi gives you that everything in your life, that abundance, what you call in one word. Yeah. And then it ends with that Saraswati, that she becomes the Swarup of that knowledge, which is there, shining and giving away everything. So that was very beautiful. I would really love that everybody else would also can share, so that we can go for the next round. And we can see these transformations in our own life. Its whole thing is connected with each and everybody's life. So that is the beautiful part of it. Yeah. Thank you. Jai Gurudev. And I would like to open to all of you, so that you all can also go ahead. Thank you. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev Sangeeta ji, that was so beautifully summarized, all the takeaways. So wonderful to listen to you. Anybody else would like to contribute, or if you have any questions, you are welcome to ask that also. If you want to add any takeaways, there are multiple such takeaways which we can add. So you are welcome to do that. Yeah, Savita, you go ahead.
Today we learned about the Shiva and Shakti, how the Shakti is involved in creating the creation, and how the balance between these Shiva and Shakti.
Yes, Savijay, that aspect is also covered, that when we see that Shakti, that energy in the form of this entire Prakriti. So this entire Prakriti is nothing but it's an expansion of Shiva only, and it is in the form of that Prakriti as a nature. That is this Divine Mother. This Divine Mother is also there in the form of this nature. So that is also the form of the same Shiva, same Shakti. It's the expansion of that same Shiva and Shakti, and the expansion of that itself appears in the form of this word. So this creation of this word is also explained in one more perspective here. That also wonderful takeaway. Anything else that you would like to add? Yeah, any other takeaways that Sangeeta ji would like to add? Any more takeaways? Sushma ji also want to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Someshwar ji. बहुत ही अच्छा लगा। और मुझे सबसे अच्छा तो ये लगा कि जीभ बाहर निकली है काली की। मतलब वो कुछ अपना जो निशब्द हो जाते हैं ना, शांत, तो वो हमारे प्रोग्रेस के लिए अध्यात्म में बहुत सहायक है, इसका प्रतीक है। बहुत अच्छा लगा। काली का वर्णन तो ऐसा दिमाग में, मतलब बिल्कुल जैसे व्यवहारिक रूप से हर चीज बात बहुत समझ में आई कि हाथ भी लटके हुए हैं, मतलब जैसे कि हम कुछ क्रिया नहीं कर रहे हैं, ये मतलब है क्या उसका?
हाँ, माने आप एक्शंस में कर रहे हो, सब कुछ हो रहा है, क्रिया तो घटी हो रही है, लेकिन उसके अंदर से आप कुछ कर्म नहीं कर रहे, मतलब वो कर्तापन का भाव नहीं है। इट इज जस्ट दैट सरेंडर की स्थिति है। इस तरह से भी उसको देख सकते हैं।
अच्छा, सरेंडर की स्थिति में हम अपना, मतलब जो काम आ रहा है, मतलब वैसा करते जा रहे हैं।
हाँ,
कोई उसमें अहम का भाव नहीं ला रहे हैं।
अहम का भाव नहीं, अहंकार का भाव नहीं है यहाँ पे।
बहुत अच्छा। इतना मतलब गूढ़ ज्ञान आपके इन शब्दों से थोड़ा दिमाग के अंदर जाता है। बहुत ही अच्छा लगता है। सुमेशा जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय
आप
गुरुदेव।
बहुत धन्यवाद सुषमा जी, आप तो एक नारी शक्ति का प्रतीक हो। यहाँ पे संगीता जी, सविता जी, आप सारे हमारे लिए बिल्कुल माता के समान, शक्ति के समान आप सब हो हमारे लिए। तो आपको भी बहुत बहुत नमन और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
कितना अच्छा सावित्री और वो सारे आपने जो नाम में जिस तरह से बताया, लगता है कि ये नोट्स निकाल के रख लेने चाहिए। ये तो बार बार मनन करके बहुत ज्यादा दिमाग के अंदर जाने चाहिए। जय
बिल्कुल,
गुरुदेव।
जय गुरुदेव सुषमा जी। ये सारे सत्र रिकॉर्ड हो रहे हैं, यूट्यूब पे भी उपलब्ध हो जाएंगे और फेसबुक पे तो रिकॉर्ड लाइव चल रहा है। तो एनी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम आप जरूर इसको देख सकते हैं। यदि आपको कुछ नोट्स वगैरह प्रिपेयर करने हैं तो बुक में भी सब कुछ है। यदि आप बुक भी ले लोगे तो बुक में भी विल गेट एवरीथिंग।
अच्छा, जरूर मैं देखूंगी।
ओके,
हाँ,
बहुत बढ़िया।
जय गुरुदेव।
very good। ठीक है, फिर आज के इस सत्र को हम यहीं पे रोक लेते हैं, इस सत्र को समापन करते हैं, ताकि हम लोग पुनः एक बार कल मिल पाए। सुषमा जी और switched on her video जिस तरह से। या जय गुरुदेव सुषमा जी, so that we can see you। या अनम्यूट कर लीजिए अपने आप को। हाँ, इट्स
नहीं, मैं अभी कुछ बोल नहीं रही थी, बस जय गुरुदेव।
हाँ, दैट्स ओके, दैट्स फाइन। तो ठीक है, आज के इस सत्र को हम लोग यहीं पे भी रोक लेते हैं, so that we can meet tomorrow। जय गुरुदेव।
जय गुरुदेव।